Okay, everyone, welcome back to the pit with Jeff. A little something different on the table today. This is my dad's Cessna 140 that he built. The plans were in RCM Model Magazine. It came with lots and lots of sheets. We'll do a quick little tour of it. It's covered in dust because it's been sitting in the room where we have our cat litter box. So anyways, I'll give you a quick little tour of it because it was quite the plane in its day. Working, gotta do this with one hand. The one latch over here is broken, but it has an Enya, I believe a 124 stroke in it. Back in the day, this is how we did things on board battery. The holders rotted out there, so I have to do that. Durbro fueler, which is probably seized and needs a kit. I ran into that with a bunch of my airplanes. I had to free them up, take them apart, just lube the O-rings and stuff. But what we need to do is I'm going to be taking that engine out because I want to fit it in the Mustang, in my dad's Mustang. He had an OS 90 Max in his two-stroke. When I got hurt, I sold a lot of my engines and stuff. I make some money until I got unemployment kicked in, and then short-term disability and that. But this is quite the little airplane. The door latches actually function on the plane, and they're spring loaded too, so you can pop it closed if you want. Go for a tour inside. Now there's a piece of history right there. Anybody that grew up with G.I. Joe, that was one of the maps that you got. So that's where that ended up. And then the interior, he did all that pretty good. I'm not sure if these are broken off. They look like they are. They're probably the handles to get out of the plane. Anyways, you can see some toggle switches. I got some radio equipment down there. Up on the dash, I made that for them. I guess back in the day we did what they did in the old cars, put all their shag carpet on the dashes and stuff. And then we actually got a pilot still sitting in there, waiting. Probably hungry. He's been in there for a while. Sticky inside here. Just a dusty luggage compartment. Seat belts. These are clips that you can get at the clothing store. I don't know if they're even little bra clips or so. I don't know. But anyways, the wings on it, I believe we had up. Let's see if we can look up in here. Let's see. Oh, they're closed off. You can't see up in there. But there's up in here. Sorry, is aluminum receivers. I think they were for Sig. Sig might have made them. And then the wing has straight aluminum sticking out, which slide into the sockets here. And then they had a notch in them, and you just tighten the tighten the screws down. That locked that down. And then the struts go down in here. The struts had some pretty neat, I don't know if you can see it. My big fingers in there. Let's get in there. So those are spring loaded. I'm gonna just stick my finger back there. So these are spring loaded. So your strut went through there. You pulled that back here and released it, and it would lock into the strut. My dad always gave me heck because I always tighten these down, and he then I would leave the flying field or whatever, and then he'd be calling me, cursing me that I tighten them up too tight. He always called me the hammer and chisel man. So it's a Cessna 140. There's the serial number. There's the NC number. I believe all this corrugation was you could buy it from SIG already done. All the corrugations, and it was just sheet stock. And I think they had that. I don't know if they had the Bravo. You could buy it for their Bravo or whatever. But that was all done on that. On the here, I'll go for a walk over here, because this is another in the pit restoration. It's my dad's bird dog. It's the Mariaki Takamari, I don't know, kit that was out a long time ago. All his corrugations. This is all lithoplate, and made some jigs, and he scored every flute, same as on the rudder. So this is another one that's in the restoration process. It's been through a few smashers, uppers. I've been doing the interior on it. I made turned some little lights, little map lights that they'd have. I made all new frames, new molds, formed all my new glass. I kept some of his instruments that he had on there, his dash. Working on my wings and that, but anyways, it's becoming a bird dog video and not put new servos and stuff in there. Same thing. I think it had a 108, OS 108 or something in it. But anyways, we'll walk back over here because that was for the corrugations. I'll go for a little tour. Yeah. So that's pretty well it, but we need the engine out of it. You know, he did a really good job on all the rivets. They all came out pretty uniform for drops of glue and that. It needs some TLC. She's been up on her nose and on her back. I notice I gotta fix the fin. It's loose, but this airplane's moved from his house to our first house on Dogwood, and then to our house that we are at currently. And it's pretty cool because the elevator linkage is actually works inside there, and then the rudder works around it. Kind of a scaly tail wheel. I don't know if that one would have had springs on it. Simulated little light on the back. Some radio antennas. Let's come over here. Come over this side. That was kind of like the pivot tubes, I believe that was for airspeed. He turned all that stuff on the lathe. Again, this side got all the dust from the cat. I finally found some better litter that doesn't make as much dust, but I think these models need to get moved over to this side of the shop. Let's go over here and see the little guy in here. I think he's got a washcloth in there to clean the windows off. Not sure if that's a window crank. Anyways, we'll look inside here. So you can see the big throttle knob, the big steering wheels. I don't even know if these, yeah, they turn around. I guess it goes, I don't know. He made all those. There's a little guy in there. I don't think we have rudder pedals. And then tried to hide the servo leads going up because it has ailerons and flaps. Nowadays you got the big master plug. You can just put it right in there now. Again, they're down here for the, at least for the flap. I mean the strut. Sure about that. When Cessnas were first coming out, 120s, 140s. I think the 140s got this kit. And what they did, and this one had it too, to help stop them from tipping over, they actually modified and moved the wheel farther ahead. So I think that was a modification that you could get. And then actually, it's a pretty good model. Simulated caliper, a brake disc, brake line. Ooh, I just broke it. That's gonna fail safety. A flex line, steel line, then simulated steel line going up inside. Steps, and I believe to make the gritty pattern on it, I think he just took a file and pounded the file onto the metal, and it made the like the gritty steppy pattern on it. But actually, this thing isn't too bad. I would give it a good wipe down. It might be a duct tape hanger job. Glue the fin back on there. Give her a good wash. And that's pretty well. I'd change all the servos. I would probably pull that engine out anyways and go through it, and the fuel system, because a lot of my planes that have sat for a long time, I've pulled the tanks. Sometimes I just change the whole tanks and stuff. But anyways, I don't know, that might be a good little project. It'd be nice to get it back in the air. It actually flew pretty nice. He let me have a go at it. But yeah, I have to pull a new windshield for it. But he did pretty good, because he's got like the simulated, I believe that's just heat shrink tubing, and he used it to simulate the weather seals. Same thing here. Simulate the seal here. The seals around the stab and the fin. Yeah, it was a pretty good airplane. I believe he called him up, the gentleman that published the plans in the RCM, and had a bunch of the guy's photos sent to him of the plane so he could do this color scheme. I have the documentation book around for when he flew it in competition. It was called something special, and I don't even know if these tires were off the Bird Dog, because I think this came after the Bird Dog. But anyways, we'll give me a shout out and see what you think. You know, do we steal the engine out of it, or do we try and put it back in the air? All right, enough for now. All that just to look at an engine. Talk to you. Bye from the pit.